MLB game, preview this weekend's game, and then you guys can take some questions.
Just continuing with our trend of stressful games and situations, but really proud how the guys finished. We found a way to win. Ugly game. I don't know if there's such thing as an ugly win, but we'll take a lot more of them. I don't know if my heart can take it, but we looked a little sluggish early. I think that's just coming off the open week, just a little heavy-legged starting out. And took us a little while to get our legs underneath us and really play the way we're capable of. It's kind of a story of the first half and second half defensively, predominantly. To finish the way they did was huge. I mean, gave our offense chance to overcome some mistakes, the missed field goals, the penalties, just missed opportunities. And so you got to give our defense a tremendous amount of credit for what they were able to do. I think they gave up 7 yards and no points on maybe 12 plays in the fourth quarter, and to create the turnovers and just continue to give the offense opportunities to go down and finish it. Struggled to run the game early. We knew they were good up front. I thought we'd run the ball a little bit better, but we didn't give up on it. We were as patient as we could be. As frustrating as that was, we were patient on it. Played out big in the second half, a couple big runs, 3rd and 19 conversion, and then be able to run the ball in the end zone there late when they're dropping 8 and rolling coverage and doubling as many guys as they can. The ability to pop a run or two there late when we had to have it was critical to us winning the game. So I told everybody all week that they're a much better team than 0-5. I still believe that they have gotten better and that they're going to win some games. They were very close with us, and they've been close every week. They're playing hard till the end, and they're built physically they're getting better. Way better team than I looked at a couple of years ago, having played them back in 2 seasons ago. They look completely different physically. So I'm just glad we found a way to get a win and didn't play our best ball. Clearly have to figure out some things on field goal. We got to be able to get chip shots in, and right now it's either protection or bad technique on the kick. Both of them are a problem, and it's something we got to get fixed this week. Don't have a lot of time to do so with Colorado State coming in on a Friday night. Huge game for us. They're built big as well. Going to play with as many big bodies and tight ends as they possibly can and extend gaps and play physical football. Our defense is going to have another huge challenge. Offensively, just the same, because they're not giving up many points. So it is, it's turn the page very quickly and learn from mistakes and find a way to regroup and play better ball. Still have not played our best or most complete game. We need it to be Friday night to find a way to get a win. What questions do you have?
Coach Anderson, Jason Turner from the Herald Journal. Just a 2-part question here. Cole Motes was a high school tight end, a defensive end, came in and did a good job in his first career start on Saturday. How would you assess his performance, and is Jacob South going to be okay health-wise and moving forward?
We'll get Jacob back at some point. I hope that's this week. He's day-to-day at this point, typical wear and tear of the season. So I'd like to think he'll be ready by Friday, but it's a short week and he might not. I was super, super proud of how Cole went in and played. I think those are his first collegiate snaps at offensive tackle, and pretty tough circumstances. He made some mistakes along the way, but he handled himself really, really well, held his own with the exception of just a few plays. So super proud, and think he'll gain a lot of confidence from that, and may very well have to do the same thing again this week.
Coach Al Lewis from KVNU. I've never asked you, your background is offense. Do you spend most of the week with the offensive guys in planning this? How do you handle that as head coach?
I kind of bounce around. My background is offense, but the good thing about that is it allows me to spend maybe less time and have shorter conversations with the offense because we're on the same page. So we can talk at the water cooler and get a lot done in 5 minutes, where if it's a defensive conversation, it takes me a little bit longer to make sure I'm on the same page with those guys. Try to put my 2 cents in all 3 phases. I run the punt return, punt block team from ground up just to take that off of Nick. and also give inputs on all the other three phases. And then we'll watch some tape and answer questions for the defense, probably from an offensive perspective more than anything, but I think it does help give them a perspective of how or where we might be vulnerable. I try to trust my coaches and let them do their jobs and help where I can, if that makes sense.
You just touched on special teams. You're worried, obviously, about your field goals. But, hey, Colorado State, great field goal kicker. They've been really good on returns. It looks like special teams are really big in this game this week.
Yeah, they were this week. I mean, if you look, I felt like we dominated special teams in this particular game, and as bad as we made mistakes in other areas, it was huge. I mean, with the exception of field goal kicking, the return game, both kickoff returns and punt returns, the ability to help ourselves with field position. You take the missed field goals out of the equation, and I would tell you that across the board really had very few mistakes. They do a good job. You can tell they're well coached. Coach's background, always taking pride in special teams, and they've got an All-American punter, I believe, and kicker's done a great job. So, yeah, it'll be a huge factor. And I think anytime you take a short week, it even heightens the sense of awareness, I think, in that particular phase.
Coach Ajay Salveson, Colorado State's running back David Bailey, number 5, has carried the ball for about 86 times for almost 330 yards. It seems for the past 4 years they're very physical in the running game. When you see film on Colorado State's offense, do you still get that same sign, or do you feel like they're moving maybe towards the passing game?
Oh no, they want to run the ball. They don't hide it. They obviously will throw it when they need to and can set up some play actions, but it's going to be 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know how many old linemen and tight ends all jammed in there together with a quarterback under center and a big running back coming downhill, NFL caliber tight end. They don't make any bones about it. Wings and double tights and triple tight. It's a unique look, and I think they went into it knowing exactly they wanted to look different than everybody else. They've built the bodies to do that, and it is it's not triple option, but it has a Air Force triple option kind of feel to it because we see so much spread ball. It's the exact opposite of that. It's everybody in a confined space downhill, blue collar football, and so it'll be a unique challenge. And all across the front, they have size, even in the backfield.
Coach, the other big thing in the game that I can see is they really have had a lot of sacks, a lot of pressure on the quarterback. So do they rush just 4? Are they blitzing all the time, or what do you see there?
They typically like to play just bringing 4, and their edge rushers are good enough to get away with it. Some simulated pressure where they're bringing 1. Don't sell out and bring 6 or 7 a lot because they're honestly good enough to get there without it. And I think they'd rather protect their back end a little bit and keep another guy in coverage because their 2 edge rushers are really, really good and going to be a challenge for us. We mentioned earlier, Cole Mote's getting his first start. He was not a liability in that area, but he's going to be challenged if he's playing this week. South comes back. He's going to have to be back at full tilt because they do a great job of getting pressure off the edges.
Coach Anderson, they have a unique talent in tight end in Trey McBride. You don't see very many tight ends catch as many passes as him. Break down his game. Why is he a special player? And he has been for a long time too.
Yeah, no doubt. He didn't just turn into that overnight. This has been a career for him. And obviously they target him a lot and try to get him to it. He's just got great hands. He's that guy that truly can block and be physical, but also get out in space. He's a complete player. He'll play at the next level, no doubt in my mind. They do a great job also with all the different sets and adjustments they put you in and gaps that you have to fill, putting in position where he's matched up really, really well. I think he's got 70 plus some odd targets and nobody else, really on the team is even close. And so they know they got a guy that can do it and he just keeps stepping up and making plays. But to me, the ability to run, the ability to block when he needs to, really soft hand for a big guy. And I think he uses his frame really well in competitive situations and maximizes his catch radius. It's tough to get to the ball with him.
Is the quarterback Sente EO? It looks like he's really been improving from where they even started the season to now. It looks like he's a lot more efficient, and they're getting more out of the passing game, I think, than they were getting earlier too.
Yeah. They look completely different than they did week 1 or 2. I think there are a lot of growing pains, and they're playing way more efficient ball. Obviously, being able to run the ball effectively, that takes a lot of pressure off of things. And I think they do things that fit their personnel really, really well. Put you in conflict, make you load gaps and load the box, and then next thing you know, guys are out running in space and crossing the field. So I think the efficiency of their pass game has gotten better and better as the run game has gotten more and more difficult to defend. We just talked about how big of a matchup problem some of their guys can be, especially the tight end. I think it all goes together really, really well.
Coach Anderson, they really did struggle defensively in that first game, both against the run and against the pass, but they've certainly gotten it together defensively. What have you seen from them that's allowed them to get on track defensively?
I think I don't think people really give enough credit for how good South Dakota State is. Number one, we saw that with North Dakota. That league is really well built, and they are well coached. Just came out of a season where they're playing at a high level. I think some of that was first game and just some things that maybe they weren't ready for, but they have not made any drastic changes. They've just gotten better at what they're doing, maybe simplified even more than anything. Just kind of got down to simple style of defense, letting guys be athletes, and some of their guys have stepped up, and they're gaining confidence on a weekly basis. You saw that when they took Iowa down to the stretch. I mean, that's a good football team, and they gave them everything they wanted. So I don't think it's anything miraculous. Just kind of playing themselves into shape. And I think everybody kind of goes through that a little bit.
Coach, Deven Thompkins was your offensive player of the week. What have you seen of him on the field? Like, he's 5'8", but he high points a ball so darn well. He's so aggressive getting there. What have you seen of him as a coach of Deven on the field?
He does play a lot bigger than his frame. I've had guys in the past that are similar to that. They understand how to elevate. They understand how to compete for the ball with bodies around them. He's got that. It just comes naturally to him. I tell everybody, you see the size of him, you see the quickness and the speed. But to me, when arguably your best player is your hardest worker, I mean, it shows up. It just does. Makes everybody else around him better. It gives everybody a tremendous amount of confidence in him. It raises the level of our team. And that's what he brings to the table. He is, without a doubt, the hardest worker on a daily basis, and leads by setting a standard of excellence, and then it carries over to the field. He's really smart. We're able to move him around all over the place, make it hard to know exactly where he's going to be, and that allows us to free him up, at times where if we put him in one spot and kept him stationary, be real easy to double him and bracket him. But he is super smart and studies the game and has a capacity for a lot of different things that allows us to be really creative with him.
Was he your best recruit you got?
Well, I don't know. Stats would say so. They've all played big factors, but yeah, stats would tell you that he was a pretty good one to keep at home.
And you meant he gets the honors. We see guys do things in the game, but who else maybe that we didn't look at from the game against UNLV is getting better, or who else really played well?
Well, I just look defensively. Nick Henniger his effort level, his work ethic is right there with Deven. When he shows up every day and just sets a tempo. Byron had a big game. He didn't get a lot of sacks, but he created a couple of holding calls. He forced the pocket, made the quarterback move, finally healthy and starting to run and play at the level that obviously we need him to play. Those are going to be huge snaps down the stretch. And I felt like, obviously Shaq being defensive player of the week, I mean, he'll tell you he struggled. He struggled to be healthy, played in a knee brace for several weeks, not real comfortable. I think he struggled to trust exactly what he's being asked to do on defense. Sometimes a lot of experience can be one of your biggest weaknesses, and that may sound crazy, but you tend to think, well, I'll just do it the way I did it before. I've done this before. And I think he's really focused at buying in and trying to be way more detailed and really focused on exactly what coach is asking him to do. And he played his best game by far and clearly deserved to be the defensive player of the week, but not so much of the turnovers that were created as much as his energy and his focus level, and really just detailed playing a much more sound football game for us, and that makes us better on defense.
Hey, Coach, I got to ask if you want to give one more plea for the I shouldn't say plea, but an ask for the student body, the USU Herd, to show up for a big game on Friday night and along with the crowd here in Logan.
Oh, absolutely, man. We absolutely need a packed house. Electric. This is a team that hasn't lost a conference game yet in our division. Going to come in, and we need all hands on deck. Hopefully, we can pay them off by finding a way to get a win. We're here at home. We've obviously figured out how to win on the road. We've got to figure out how to beat a good opponent here at home, and we feed off the crowd. So I'm hoping that the Valley and the student section come out in big numbers, just like they've done the last couple of weeks. We need them bad. We need them bad. So hopefully they'll step up in big numbers.
Is it crazy that we're over halfway through the season already? Is it gone as quick for you as it has for us?
It goes in a blur. It really does. We talked about it last week, just to kind of put it in perspective. We started this season. Really, we started the season back in June when we put over probably 140 days in, and we're down to only about 40 days left. It goes by quick, and now that it's game without a lot, without really any breaks, it speeds up even more. So we got to stay healthy, and we got to keep improving and find if we can go out and kind of get out of our own way and play good ball.
One other quick thing. What about Elion Noah and what he's added to the team in his spot? I mean, seems like he's kind of behind two other guys, but now all of a sudden when he gets in, he plays great.
Yeah, he's been just consistently solid, quietly solid, and his role gets a little bit bigger each week. He doesn't have that gear that he's going to outrun a lot of guys, but he's very patient. He's physical, and you saw some physical runs. I think he sees the hole, has good vision, and you're starting to see little by little just some confidence grow in him. And we talked how long it's going to be kind of running back by committee, and until some guys really, really stood out. And every time you go out and you have a good outing, it gives us more and more confidence to give him another opportunity. So you're likely to see him more and more as the season goes on.
All right, we've got senior wide receiver Deven Thompkins. Obviously, Deven was the Mountain West Offensive Player of the Week this week with his career high 12 catches, 2 touchdowns, 180 yards. So you guys go ahead and ask Deven questions.
Devin Al Lewis from KBNU. What about winning the Conference Player of the Week? What does that mean to you, and how do you share it with everybody?
It feels good, but if it wasn't for everybody else after the other 10 players, I wouldn't be able to win that award. So I'm really thankful for my teammates, for helping me achieve that.
Devin Ajay Salveson, your ability, despite the body frame, to be able to high point a ball, be able to go after a ball, be aggressive, how much of that is technique, and how much of that is just confidence that you can catch any ball that's thrown at you?
It just comes from doing it over such a long time. For real, to me, that's nothing new. Like that's all I used to do in high school, especially my senior year. Was just run a go route and throw the ball up, and I would always come down with it. So I just know how to high point the ball in the air, and I know with my the abilities that God gifted me with, it gives me a better ability to make those plays.
We've asked you before, Devin, but could you expand? I just said to the coach, maybe you might have been the best recruit he made when he got here at Utah State, because you decided to kind of go in the transfer portal. How close were you to even leaving, or did it ever come that far? Or once you talked to the coach, you decided to stay? What went on?
Even like when I first entered the transfer portal, it was just based off all the things that were happening at the time, with having Coach Anderson fired and, Jason Shelley getting kicked off the team. It was just a lot that was going on. And, I was missing my children as well. So, I really wanted a fresh start, and whenever Coach Anderson came to Utah State, he, the things that he was telling me, he was going to make happen, especially with having such a diverse, coaching staff and things of that nature. It really, sparked my interest a lot. And, Utah State was home for me. This is where I started at, and this is the one place that gave me a chance, that out of high school. So I'm forever grateful for this place, and I wanted to be able to, just allow myself to display my greatness here at this school. So it didn't even feel right entering the portal at first. That's why, when Coach Anderson came here and he decided and he told me everything, I knew that this was exactly where I wanted to be, and I wanted to finish it here for sure.
Your other story about you mentioned your kids and your children. That's a big deal, you can tell to you. And talk about how you manage that and how you're a dad and a player and keep track of things like that.
Really just, the longer that I've been doing this now, I've been doing it for a couple of years. So it's starting to be just, second nature. But It's really, whatever you want to do, whatever is really important to you, you'll find a way to do it, whether it's being able to manage time, also having great people around you, also like I've met some really great people who helped me a lot on this journey, as well as, and that has taught me how to be a really great man. So I'm just really thankful for all those things,
What are your kids' names and how old are they?
My daughter, Naomi, she's 3 years older than my son. His name is Messiah. He's 2 years old.
Devin,
Anything
sorry, Doug. Devin, with the offense, I know it seems to be kind of a struggle to get going, and then finally in the second half, it's turned into an offensive clinic for you guys. What do you need to do in the first half to maybe get a better spark, to gain some momentum, so you're not starting off slow or falling behind in the fourth quarter, having to make a rally?
We gotta really get better at starting fast. That's the biggest thing for us is we just got to be able to start fast. And I don't necessarily understand I don't know what the problem is. I mean, we practice great every single day, so it's just something that we always got to work on every single day and hopefully get better on as the season goes on.
Thanks, Devin.
Devin, Jason Turner from the Herald Journal. How much is bringing in a guy like Brandon Boyne and the development of guys like Justin McGriff and Derek Wright, how much does that open things up for you in the receiving game?
It's a lot. You can't just, like, at the end of the day, you can't just key on me because there's so many other weapons on the field, and they've all been great players, ever since they started playing. So, but having Brandon here for sure in the slot, he's definitely a help a lot, and then having Justin outside and also Derek Wright, Savon Scarver, and Jordan Nathan, everybody seems to be able to make a play and contribute. So it makes my job a lot easier at the end of the day.
Sure, you're not that much into Colorado State yet because of the short week and coming back and all, but they may be the best defense you've faced up until now, the way they're playing right now. And then can you remember the game over there the last time you played Colorado State? And then, you won the game here in Logan the last time you played, but the one over there was one that kind of stands out, how you guys pulled that out late and then looked like you'd lost and still won.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, definitely that game my freshman year, that was that game really was a big reality check for me, especially like that was my first game I was able to start a punt return because Jordan Nathan was hurt at the time. And I ended up muffing the punt, in the fourth quarter with probably like a minute left on the clock. And I just remember, it was like 2 minutes left in the game. Yeah. And I remember like, whenever the ball went through my hands and then they recovered it, I was like, I lost us the game, and it was just, that hurt me a lot, but it was like the team, the environment of the team, or the energy of the team, everybody started, patting me up. They were trying to bring me up, and like, they weren't like, oh, like, you made a freshman mistake or anything like that. It was like, you're good, man. Like, it's all good. And then at the time, Coach Bonite was here and he put me back in at receiver, and I ended up catching a pass. So that helped me out too. That helped build my confidence back after I did that. And, we ended up winning the game. So that was definitely a big learning lesson for me in my college career.
Have you even looked at Colorado State yet? Do you know anything about their defense yet, or will that be all today and tomorrow?
That'll be all this week. I'm just really taking it, week by week. That's really it.
All right, now we've got senior safety Shaq Bond. Shaq was the Mountain West Defensive Player of the Week this week. Go ahead and ask Shaq questions.
I just asked Devin. Shaq Al Lewis from KBNU. I'll ask you the same thing. Is there some satisfaction with the way things have gone to be a Player of the Week in the conference and do what you did against UNLV?
Yeah, it's definitely a satisfaction. I've been down the last couple of weeks, so to have a nice game like this, big turnout with a W, it felt good. It felt good to be back.
Shaq, Jason Turner from the Herald Journal. You guys just really gained some positive momentum defensively there. The late third quarter and the entire fourth quarter against UNLV. How valuable was that for you guys to get that kind of momentum defensively heading into this big homecoming game?
It's big for the momentum, especially in the Mountain West. During the game, coaches told us to keep our heads, stay with the technique, trust ourselves, and that's what we did. We started getting a couple stops back to back, a couple third down conversions, a couple turnovers. So it was big throughout the game.
Shaq, Ajay Salveson here. Coach kind of alluded to maybe some of the struggles you might have had. He didn't go into details. I was wondering if you could elaborate a little bit. What were the struggles for you? Was it more physical with the knee brace, emotional, mental? What were those things that you were going through before you had this breakout game against UNLV?
I was really just getting back to close to about 100%. I've been about 80% the last couple of weeks, especially with the knee brace, the tape, and everything. So yeah, I've been taking it day by day, and I finally was able to get the knee brace off this week, and a lot of confidence came back with that. So it was good to just have fun and be back out there with my boys.
Seems like Shaq every week we're talking to the defensive guy about play in and play out. The defense isn't playing too bad, but there's the standout long runs you guys have given up on defense. In this game, do you think it was more of just Williams individually, and you've done better at that, or what do you think about not giving up any more big runs?
No, it was Williams is a great running back, so we give credit to him regardless of what the scheme or the plan was. But over the past couple of weeks, we gave up a couple big plays in the beginning that get things kicked off, and we kind of start slow and we build into it, and that's why we always get stops towards the end where it looked like we just back-to-back stops. Our legs are just fresh because of Coach Jackson. So other than that, Williams, he did his job, and towards the end of the game, we just did better with our technique and trusting ourselves.
Shaq, sorry, go ahead, Al.
You still got a long ways to go defensively, though, to play all the plays and not give up those big plays. Would you say that?
Yeah, we definitely, for us to be playing as good as we is, the plays we do give up and the things we have to get better at, we got a long way to go, and it can only go up from here because the way we play now is just going to get better.
Shaq, another physical running team coming in. You've played Colorado State before. You know how physical they like to be at the front, especially in the running game. Do you guys feel like that this year with the physicality you have on the defense side of the ball, you can play with it?
Yeah, of course. We're not really worried about just people running the ball on us. We give up a couple big plays, but then we not, throughout the week, we need to make sure we do this or do that. We just take it day by day, trust our technique. We don't do nothing differently each week. We tackle every day as usual. So it's just a matter of translating it to the game and not getting a slow start.
Shaq, you're facing a pretty rare tight end talent this week in Trey McBride. How much are you looking forward to that matchup and doing what you guys can to limit his effectiveness?
We gonna game plan accordingly like we do each week. We don't really worry about one person. We stick to our schemes. And as an individual one-on-one with any of the DBs, throughout my career, I've been here. I didn't face, Dax, Raymond, Carson, Terrell, a lot of folks that came through here, and them talents have been off the charts. So just being here since sophomore year, going against them, I'm really prepared for any type of tight end, especially after Dax.
For a team leader, Shaq, in some ways, I know guys look up to you. It's a homecoming game. You didn't win your last two home games. You had big crowds. What do you got to do this Friday night to change that? Obviously, you put yourselves in a spot now. You just take one game at a time, keep winning. You're in your place where you want to be.
Yeah, it's a big week, homecoming week. The only thing we're gonna do differently is practice harder, I guess. We've been doing a great job of staying with ourselves. Not getting too high, not getting too low. So we're going to stay with our scheme and trust everything going to go the way we want it to go. We're going to have some downs in the game, but, just sticking with the scheme throughout the game, and we're going to come out with the W.